Good morning. Big shout out to everyone watching November 13, 2023. A year after the massacre in a sorority house belonging to the University of Idaho in Moscow, Idaho. Just here to have a quick conversation, enjoying some lime and some fish, some delicious fish from Alaska, fish fillet, some steak, a little bit of taco sauce, and the lime. I want to have some breakfast, dinner, an all-time meal. This is my me time that I have the opportunity to come here and have a conversation with you. Appreciate everyone watching on the background. Thank you for all the new subscribers. Please click like, subscribe, share the content, subscribe to Jrod on Point. If you find any value in the conversation that we have in the true crime, please make sure you hit the TheOnPointFamily Cash App. We appreciate all the donations. Please make sure to click like and subscribe and share the content. Very important. And it hit different. So let's get to today's discussion. Let's see what we got here today first. Big shout out to Bed Crime Stories.
Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. To all my bed crimers, hi, how are you? I hope you're having a great weekend. To anyone new here, a warm welcome. Let me just ask that after watching and or listening to the video, if you find you enjoyed it or learned something, do me a favor, smash the like button and consider subscribing. Now, let's dig in. If it wasn't already traumatizing enough to be one of just two survivors in one of the most terrifying, shocking, and gruesome quadruple murders of all time, a crime in which 4 of your best mates lost their lives, Dylan Mortensen will also be facing down Bryan Kohberger and his defense team during the trial. Dylan had the heart-stopping experience of hearing scary noises and then cracking open her door to see a masked person in black clothing, likely splattered in red, walking toward her. Because she's an eyewitness, Dylan's testimony will be central to the trial. She also saw and heard those things and didn't dial 911 for hours and hours and hours. The defense is going to pummel her about that issue. Why didn't you dial 911 when you saw a stranger in the house after you'd heard Xana crying and the loud thump of what was likely her body falling to the
Way before all this discussion, we had Dylan Mortensen first narrative, first testimony that she was on the first floor sleeping. Obviously, in Bethany's room. So since when Dylan needed Bethany for an alibi, Bethany didn't want nothing to do with the change of narrative that Dylan Mortensen put in play. And Moscow PD, I like Dylan Mortensen, to change her first testimony to a whole new one, which now have her on the second floor, hearing and seeing things. What you think about what was the reason for Dylan Mortensen changing her alibi? Because that's an alibi. Dylan Mortensen's first alibi was that she was on the first floor in Bethany's room, because obviously crossed Bethany's hallway. The other room across the hall, the bed was not made, it was against the wall, stand up against the wall. It was like they was using it like for storage. So due to the first alibi wouldn't work, I believe, because again, Bethany Funk didn't want nothing to do with the situation. This is why we giving the benefit of the doubt to Bethany Funk at this day today. We're still giving her benefit of the doubt. But we cannot give the benefit of the doubt to a Dylan Mortensen that after 7 hours, allegedly, of not calling and reporting a mass murder massacre in a sorority house from a pronounced university of very important people. How can we even discuss or have a conversation about any student from a prominent and high class university, award-winning university, and we're talking about the University of Idaho? How can we even have a conversation about a student coming from such a high learning university to not have the basic principles of law, society behavior, human behavior? What's the right thing to do when you know a crime occurred? What's the right thing to do? You see something, you say something. That's the right thing to do. Anytime you hear any human in distress, any human in the surroundings that is witness of the distress, should take care of that situation accordingly. For example, if you are listening to a human asking for help, screaming, yelling, crying, you hear thumpings, the right thing to do. This Alaskan fish is delicious, guys. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Alaska fish. The right thing to do is calling authorities right away. Parents, and then any authority from the University of Idaho. If you belong to a sorority, then you announce it to the sorority. You probably don't even have to do that because at that time the cops should have known who survivors and who has to do with what. So the police should approach fraternity or sorority from where the house incident is coming from. Because after you report a crime of that nature, authorities gotta react quick to catch who commit that crime. And the quicker the response to the crime on the report of the crime, the authority has the opportunity, it has a bigger chance and opportunity to crush the criminal or the criminals sooner than later or quicker. But the longer you take to report a crime, a murder scene, a massacre of this kind, the crime scene gets contaminated, like the criminal has longer time in possession of the crime scene. Because at this point when the crime is committed, no one has reacted to it, even though if the criminal knows there is people at the other room. But let's say if the assailant knew that it was people at the room next door, obviously it was no reaction from those roommates to alert the criminal to probably not finish the job and get out the house quicker because it would be someone yelling out the room. I'm calling the cops. Cops are on their way. You better get out of here. That's the right way to go about things. Yeah. Big shout out to Rita Boston. Big shout out to you. We're just having some fish and some steak. Early morning breakfast, dinner. We could call it a whole day meal. A lot of protein, no carbs, just straight protein, steak and fish. Very healthy. Big shout out to Sister Moon. Thank you for being here. Sorry. It just this is kind of like my me time. Around this time, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning right now. Just wanted to have a conversation with y'all real quick. But in reality, the right thing to do when you hear people on distress and it's an attack or a fight or a situation is going on inside of a residence, the right thing to do is call authorities right away. I've been telling that to my kids since day one. My kids know that's the principles and the basics of human nature. When you know a crime is being committed and someone is getting assaulted, especially if you don't know who's assaulting that person that you're witnessing the assault. You call authorities right away. You don't wait. Anything suspicious that you see, you call authorities. You try to prevent crimes, especially if it's inside of the residence that you are. You know, the people that we're talking about are old enough to know better. Especially with these young adults, they already know how to do bad. And I like to believe that young adults that we already know likes to do bad. We like to believe that they already know then what to do good or what to not do. And when they doing it at this point of their life, especially when you're in college, you're supposed to be very smart. We're talking about people who are supposed to be very educated and people that should know better. We cannot give benefits of the doubts of people that we know are very smart. So if your first alibi is that you are in the first floor with Bethany and they didn't hear, they didn't see nothing, you were sleeping, how come that then you change your alibi? Because before we talk about Bryan Kohberger alibi, like before we talk about Bryan Kohberger's alibi, that if he's bad or not bad and whatsoever, the most important thing to understand is that Dylan Mortensen, that her first alibi didn't confirm, because Bethany Funk didn't want nothing to do with the crime, or didn't want to do with nothing, knowing nothing of nothing, didn't want to collaborate with Dylan Mortensen's narrative. That's her way to say, that's her way out. Like, I'm not gonna help you with your alibi because you was not in my room. We was texting. What you mean? Why I'm gonna help you to say that you was in my room when we was texting about what was going on? And how I'm gonna sit here and let you play me out in a situation that has to do with the death of my big sorority sister, Maddie Mogan. Moscow PD allowed Dylan Mortensen to change her first, actually, prosecution. Bill Thompson and Moscow PD has allowed Dylan Mortensen to change her first alibi to a second alibi of being on the second floor, hearing the same things, which includes the possibility of a Bryan Kohberger or someone with bushy eyebrows, mask, walking out of the back door. So we have to think that the person went inside of the house through the back door, sliding door. Because she's testifying that she sees someone with a bushy eyebrow walking out of the back of the sliding door, back of the house. We could assume that that's the method of entrance. How can authorities could allow, it don't matter if you're a male or female, anyone, they will not report a crime for 7 hours, and that's why the crime scene didn't got finished being processed until 15 hours later. I'm sorry, Sister Moon. I'm sorry. I just wanted to share a little, spending my time of having a little meal, some good old fish, having a conversation with our community, the On Point, the On Point family. We just wanted to come here and give you a understanding that after a year of what happened in the Idaho fall case, Dylan Mortensen is the only person involved in this crime, which has changed her alibi twice. It was the first time to the second floor, and then you got to involucrate a possibility of a Bryan Kohberger, because that's two different alibis. Your location of where you were and what you heard and what you see, and then the possibility of a Bryan Kohberger. Then they got to explain. So now they have to prove that he went through the sliding door. They have to prove that Bryan Kohberger was in Moscow, Idaho, when the crime was committed. And they have to prove that he entered this residence. When we have a Dylan Mortensen that has changed her alibi twice. One to be on the second floor, and then putting someone else at the scene. Getting her out of the situation. But then you put in the alibi of it was not you, it was someone else. So that's you two different alibis, where you was located and it was not you. So it's not that Dylan Mortensen is gonna be attacked by the defense team and Taylor. It's like if this case gets to trial, the reality is that a lot of questions gonna come Dylan's way, and she's gonna have to be very clear about it in court. So now, what you think? You think the judge is gonna give Dylan the benefit of the doubt of not calling authorities for 7 hours, bringing people inside of the house after knowing that the crime was committed, and now reported it, having people inside the house doing God knows what? Thank you, Sister Moon. I appreciate you. But then Funky didn't want nothing to do with Dylan Mortensen's narrative or alibi. That's what I believe, that Bethany Funk didn't want nothing to do with what happened to these young adults. And due to the Dylan Mortensen realized that she won't be able to use Bethany Funk for her alibi of being in the first floor, sleeping, not hearing, not seeing nothing, obviously at Bethany Funk's bedroom. She had to change her alibi to being on the second floor, hearing and seeing things after you already said that you was in the first floor. So Moscow PD and Bill Thompson allowed you to change your alibi and then get someone else involved. And then you didn't call authorities for 7 hours. Of course we have questions. Of course. It's like what we've been talking about. Everyone needed to be investigated, in this case from the inner circle. Anyone and everyone. Sorority, fraternities, family, everyone. Because for any crime, you have to get to the bottom of it. And whoever committed this crime, it don't matter who it is, needs to come to the light. It don't matter who you are. Best friend, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, hater. It don't matter who you are within the inner circle of friends or family or whatever. The inner circle. People should know when we mention the inner circle, everyone should know by now that is the immediate people around you. I'm not going to take very long today. I'm going to let this live stream here for educational purposes after a year of the sorority house massacre of the University of Idaho. It's sad to say that it's a lot of people that was around this situation, like Dylan Mortensen, and authorities let them change the alibi after being known that they didn't report the crime because he was in shock. So no one, because then for you to say that you was in shock, then defense is gonna bring people from the medical side of things, medicals from the mental health department and stuff like that, and human behavior analysis, and they're gonna then run your whole background, and any little situation you could have got into or suspicious of is gonna pop out. Your credibility is gonna pop out. People is gonna be lined up. Oh, it's gonna be a circus. And everybody's gonna look at Dylan like, do you really think that you could get away with this shit? Again, if you didn't have nothing to do with the killing of these young adults, you definitely knew who did it. Because that's the only reason why you didn't report it, because you didn't want to do nothing with the snitching of it. And authorities being complicit. Because why? Sororities in the University of Idaho, Greek Council, like people in positions and stuff, like, because she's part of a sorority and she's a female, we're gonna allow her to get away with saying that I didn't call authorities for 7 hours after I hear and see things. For 7 hours? and you want us grown adults to see here and believe it. It's tough to believe something like that, especially when you hear and you see, you react to it. And if you wasn't complicit and if you wasn't part of what was going on, or responsible of what was going on, somehow you would have called the cops right away as soon as the sign of distress would have popped up. Especially if he's proven in court that you're a malicious person, that you know bad from good from bad. You know, if he's proven in court that you know better, they line all your family and your friends, the whole University of Idaho, the whole state of Idaho going down just because Dylan Mortensen. I think it would be a small price to pay for the state to take a hit going after Dylan Mortensen, and y'all have better luck finding the criminals and the killers of who committed this crime. If you put a little pressure of lawful legal pressure to someone that knows what happened, without a doubt. So going after Kohberger is getting played out. Because you got to Kohberger when your first suspect, Dylan Mortensen, has changed her alibi twice, changing her location inside the house and saying that it was someone else and not her. That's two different alibis, not just one. It wasn't me. That's one alibi. And where I was, that's the second alibi. So how can we go after and laugh about an alibi of a Bryan Kohberger that obviously that's all what he could say? I was driving around. And then now the state got to prove that he was around the location and he's at the house. And when he's at the house. A lot of things got to be compared and line up to find this man guilty. And none of those things are available to line them up. But again, the state has a Dylan Mortensen. They changed her alibi. Was at the house, hearing, seeing things, and she's not in cuffs just because she's a female, and allegedly her mom is part of the faculty of the University of Idaho. In the same way the coroner is part of the faculty, and Chief Fry and a lot of people within the court system that came out of the regime of the University of Idaho. Moscow PD having contract with the University of Idaho is a conflict of interest by itself. In a way, everything, just that particular situation about Dylan Mortensen was put in play. It's a conflict of interest by itself. proven by common sense. It's just simple procedures. That's why I just wanted to come here and let y'all know that after a whole year, he's a Bryan Kohberger. There is no attachments to this crime, and God knows how they got probable cause for arrest. Because if you ask me at this day today, if it comes out that it was really no probable cause to arrest this guy, and it was just hearsay, or he say, she say, or it's just something fabricated in someone's mind and put it together and came up with a warrant for arrest, probable cause for an arrest. So it was a probable cause for arrest for Bryan Kohberger, but not one for Dylan Morrison. If Bryan Kohberger was guilty, don't you think it's the possibility that Dylan Morrison helped him to commit this crime? If Bryan Kohberger was the assailant? Just comment down below. Don't you think if Bryan Kohberger committed this crime like everyone said, don't you think that in the same way Dylan Morrison could be the person that helped him and facilitated for Bryan Kohberger to commit this crime? I don't know. Comment down below. It's a whole year after this crime. Families are asking for questions. The true crime community is asking for questions. And meanwhile, it's content creators that want to give benefit of the doubt to a Dylan Morrison. I want you to take your time for a second and think, if this was your kids, what would you think? It's Jrod on point. Have a good day, guys.